Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a look outside our soaking wet weather window on this Friday afternoon. The rain began about 7 o'clock this morning and it hasn't stopped here in the Wenatchee area all day long. A little less rain as you move east into the Columbia Basin and snow to our north. What we haven't seen, at least at this time, is strong winds, and we do expect that to happen tonight, where we could see winds in the Wenatchee area between 45 and 50 miles an hour. Look at those winds in Moses Lake, possibly 50 to 60 miles an hour. And of course, that could cause some power outages and some tree damage, and all that ahead of a bigger storm that's moving in Sunday, and that'll drop snow on all of us Sunday into Monday, and we are going to get much colder with highs around 30 and lows in the teens. We'll talk much more weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. The red-hot real estate market in the Wenatchee area continues to show signs of cooling down. If there are close local races in Tuesday's election, it's very possible people won't know the winners for as long as a week. And a 22-unit affordable housing project in Winthrop has won a $100,000 grant from the State Department of Commerce to help with development costs. But first, our top story tonight. DNA evidence and statements from an alleged victim have led to charges of rape against an East Wenatchee 17-year-old. Police say that the male suspect sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl in two separate instances in 2021 while she was staying the night within his family home. The child's allegation was allegedly supported by genetic material found on her clothes and tested by the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab. Douglas County prosecutors filed 2 charges of second-degree rape against the suspect Monday in juvenile court. He's now scheduled to be arraigned on November 23rd. Well, the red-hot real estate market in the Wenatchee area continues to show signs of cooling down in the latest report for October from Pacific Appraisal Associates. For the third straight month, the median sales price for a home in the Wenatchee market has stayed steady at $500,000, but that's still up 14% compared to last year when the price was $440,000. Total home sales compared to last year were down in October, with 66 homes sold last month. That's compared to 111 in October of 2021. Active listings, meanwhile, in this market were way up compared to last year, with 184 homes on the market. That compares to 96 in October of last year, up 92%. Well, if there are close local races in Tuesday's election, it's very possible people won't know the winners for as long as a week. Chelan County Auditor Skip Moore talked with NCWLIFE's Dan Kuntz this morning about the challenges of getting the results out as quickly as possible with so many late arriving ballots this year.
I anticipate that we're going to get close to 20,000 ballots in the next 3 days.
And you have 50,000 and change?
51,000 registered voters.
So almost a half.
Yes,
yeah.
Almost half is going to happen in the next 3 days. And we just cannot push them through the process quick enough so that by Thursday, quite often on the Friday after the election on Tuesday, we're pretty much done with our massive amount of tabulation. That's not going to be the case this time around because of short week. We've seen a late return of the ballots. It's going to be midweek. It's almost going to be the Tuesday or Wednesday following the election. This is when we finally have results and have processed enough ballots that we're down to that, 200 ballots in-house scenario. That's a long time, or not a long time. It's longer than has happened in the past.
A 22-unit affordable housing project in Winthrop has won a $100,000 grant from the State Department of Commerce to help with development costs. Wild Rose Family Housing in his apartment complex being developed by the Housing Authority of Okanogan County off of Highway 20. The project will include 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units in one of North Central Washington's most cost-prohibitive housing areas. The $100,000 Commerce grant doesn't sound like much, but it's intended to pay system fees for connection to water, sewer, and storm drains as the construction moves forward. When we come back, Moses Lake firefighters are praising a pair of youngsters who were quick to notice and report a garage fire in their neighborhood on Wednesday night. The Cascadia Conservation District has selected a dozen photos of landscapes from local contributors for its 2023 calendar. Starting on Monday, people 65 and older in the Eastmont School District can get free admission to all regularly scheduled events taking place at their local schools. And Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort fired up its snowmaking machines Tuesday for the first time this season, and then was given an assist the past couple of days with several inches of snow from Mother Nature. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
I'm Dr. Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She says the massacre at Sandy Hook was staged. She claims there's no evidence terrorists hit the Pentagon on 9/11. She's even called for members of Congress to be executed. And this is Matt Larkin. He says he, quote, aligns with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why Matt Larkin is dangerous, because the last thing we need is another Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Welcome back. And in other news, Moses Lake firefighters are praising a pair of youngsters who were quick to notice and report a garage fire in their neighborhood on Wednesday night. Joshua and sister Olive were the first to see the smoke coming from their neighbor's garage on C Street. And thanks to their quick action, firefighters were able to respond in time to prevent the fire from spreading. There were no injuries. Well, the Cascadia Conservation District has selected a dozen photos of landscapes from local contributors for its 2023 calendar. The pictures cover categories from wildlife to agriculture to recreation. Cascadia produces its calendar with local content every year. The district's Facebook followers help make some of the selections. Many of the images that didn't make the cut to be monthly features will likely appear in other sections of that calendar. The 2023 edition should become available later this fall at the district's office, and it's located at 14 North Mission Street in Wenatchee. Well, starting on Monday, people 65 and older in the Eastmont School District can get free admission to all regularly scheduled events taking place at their local schools, including some home athletic events, concerts, and drama productions. The Eastmont Gold Pass will be available for senior citizens in the district thanks to a vote of the Eastmont High School Associated Student Body. The ASB said it's a way of thanking seniors for their support of school activities and events and encouraging them to attend. If you qualify, you can apply for your Gold Pass at the Eastmont Administration Office. Personal ID is required and your photo will be taken. Once the pass is printed, you can present it for free admission at almost any ticketed event on Eastmont grounds. The district says that won't include playoff games that fall outside the regular athletic schedule. Well, Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort fired up its snowmaking machines on Tuesday for the first time this season, and then was given an assist this past couple of days with several inches of snow from the natural source. The ski resort above Wenatchee said temperatures had dropped enough on the mountain to put the machines to work on opening the season as soon as possible. Officially, Mission Ridge aims to open for skiing the day after Thanksgiving, but could open earlier if snow conditions are right. And boy, it's looking good right now. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
In Chelan County, home prices are increasing, making buying or renting a home more difficult than ever, especially for low and middle income families. I'm proud to call Chelan County home, and I'm running for Chelan County Commissioner to ensure that people of this county can stay here and raise their families. I'm ready to work, listen, and be a voice for the working class as our county grows. Vote for me, Ann Hesburgh.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Ann Hesburgh.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. The focus this election season has been on candidates, but there are major bond issues on the ballots as well, including one from Eastmont School District. If voters approve, that's $185 million to build new secure classrooms at Cascade, Kenroy, Lee, and Rock Island elementary schools, plus a new transportation facility and repairs and upgrades throughout the district. In tonight's feature story, Superintendent Becky Berg talked about the bond issue in a visit with NCWLIFE's Dan Kuntz at Cascade Elementary, which she notes was built in 1967.
If you can think of 1967, the last thing on our mind was school violence and having to harden our schools. It was more invitational and please come. That's still in our hearts, but our schools need a single point of entry. We need to see who's coming and going, and we need to minimize exterior doors that may or may not be shut after recess, may or may not be shut in between classes. This bond will significantly help with that. We have 5 particular children here who are in wheelchairs, and the pavement is uneven, the bark in the playground is inaccessible. We have a brand new, beautiful, inclusive playground at Clovis Point, and I encourage you to go see it. It's where every child can look out and say, it's recess time and I belong. So that's what we want for all of our schools. If you talk to our HVAC and our electrician, you see the need immediately. We're maxed out in just about both of those areas. So the interior systems in the oldest part of our buildings from 1957 to 2022 is a long time to keep those taped together and pieced together. Our maintenance department does a great job, but there's only so much they can do with aging equipment. We'd love people to visit our schools for events, and right now, if you're here at the wrong time, you're stuck. The traffic circles the entire block and then some, and then very few parking spots. So as with our other schools, we'll have a separate bus loop and a separate parent pickup and drop off, and that should aid in physical safety and in the patience of our drivers and even help our older neighbors who are tired of the congestion. We will do it Eastmont style. We won't go over the top. We like to say we will not be building glass palaces. We'll be building very functional schools. I loved coming into our new cafeterias and seeing the good old linoleum floors that we had growing up instead of terrazzo marble or anything like that. So as we've been quoted saying in the paper, we're building Fords, not Ferraris, and we're very comfortable with that.
Let's take a look now at your north central Washington weather forecast. It's Friday, the weekend is upon us, and boy, we talked about a big storm moving in overnight, and it sure did. Rain all night long in the Wenatchee area. This is our Billy Goat camera, and yeah, Pateras and Brewster are down there. We're seeing it all over north central Washington, and it didn't get that warm today like we thought, unless this wind comes up after we do the newscast, and that'll warm us up. But 40 today, 49 is normal. Our record was set back in 2014, a very mild 66 degrees. We started off the day at 34, and that is right where we should be for low temperatures this time of year, at 34. A record 17 in 1973. Look at that. We've almost picked up a quarter of an inch of rain since it began early this morning, and that now gets our precipitation to date to 6.56 inches. Sunrise 7:49, and the sun sets at 5:39. Taking a look at what we can expect as we get you into the weekend on Saturday, kind of an in-between weather day. Yeah, we're going to see some more wind tomorrow, but temperatures not too bad. 50s for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 49 in Quincy, so the Columbia Basin will be a little bit warmer. 46 back in the Wenatchee area, 47 for Eniat, and we warm up all the way up into Omak. Warm spot tomorrow, at least west of the Columbia Basin, at 49 degrees. Tonight, rain is likely. Here's our area of low pressure, and boy, it's just bringing that wind into the Pacific Northwest. Very windy tonight, damaging winds, power outages possible, and boy, the rain is just going to continue. Heavy at times here in north central Washington. That storm will move through then into Saskatchewan and even into the central part of Canada. Get in between day for Saturday, 30% chance of rain with highs in the mid-40s before this next storm system moves in. And look at the size of this one. It's going to park itself off the coast of Washington state on Sunday. Rain and snow are likely throughout the day. I think it's going to be mainly snow because we are going to cool down a little bit, with highs on Sunday in the upper 30s, and even colder then as we get you into Monday. The low is going to park itself off the northwest Oregon coast. Cooler for Monday with high temperatures only in the mid-30s. We could see some scattered snow showers on Monday. Getting you into Tuesday, the system moves south, but that'll continue to drag that colder northerly air into Washington. Our highs on Tuesday only in the low 30s. We're going to see upper teens for overnight lows as we get you into Wednesday. Wednesday doesn't look bad. We're going to see partly cloudy skies, but this area of high pressure is going to drive some more cold air our way, and we will stay with high temperatures only in the low 30s, and that system just deepens as we get you into Thursday. There is an area of low pressure that's trying to move in. We'll see how that works by the time we get into next weekend, but for Thursday, mostly cloudy, continued unseasonably cold with highs in the low 30s. Taking a look at that 7-day forecast, 39 overnight tonight, a 30% chance of scattered showers tomorrow, and windy, 46 degrees. Rain and snow are likely all day on Sunday. I think a lot of that will be accumulating snow, 39. Maybe some morning snow on Monday, and 35. And then the cold weather is upon us. Partly to mostly cloudy Tuesday through Thursday, with high temperatures only in the low 30s, with lows in the mid to upper teens. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Chelan County is a great place to live. Let's keep it that way. Sean Smith here, and as a business owner, father of 4, and lifetime resident, I'm truly concerned about the changes I see coming in our county. As your next county commissioner, I will work diligently with every agency, our state legislators, and law enforcement teams to make sure we don't lose the quality of life we have come to appreciate. There's a lot more than simply planning and community development to be concerned about, and I am ready, willing, and capable of doing it all for you. I ask for your vote.
Hello, my name is Alan Blackman, and I am running for Chelan County District Court Judge. It has been my honor to serve you as a prosecutor and public servant. I have worked hard to keep our community safe. I have the knowledge and courage, but also the compassion and integrity to address mental health and substance abuse in our local courts. Please vote for the most experienced. Vote for balance, compassion, and integrity. Vote Blackman for Judge.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy finally Friday. Houston Astros one win away from a World Series title after a 3-2 win over Philadelphia last night.
There he goes. Here it comes. A bouncing ball to short. Pena's there. Steps into the throw. Astros take game 5. In a thriller. 3-2 the final score. And 3-2 is the series as it goes back to Houston.
And Justin Verlander gets off the schneid.
And his 9th start in the World Series, he gets his first win. 5 innings, just 1 run. And Jeremy Pena, the star of the offensive show, knocking in 2 of the 3 runs for Houston.
Game 6 back in Houston tomorrow night. If necessary, Game 7 would be at Minute Maid Park on Sunday. That's on Fox. Seattle Kraken have 3 wins in a row after a 4-0 shutout in Minnesota last night. Martin Jones earned his first shutout since April last year in nets. The Kraken broke the ice after a scoreless first period. Scoring for the Seattle were Morgan Geekie, Jamie Oleksiak, that is, and 2 goals by Adam Wenberg. Seattle finishes up the road trip in Pittsburgh tomorrow at 4 o'clock. That's on Root Sports Northwest. The Wenatchee Wild return home tonight to host Merritt at the Town Toyota Center. Wenatchee's off to a slow start in BCHL play so far. Currently last in the Interior Division with just 2 wins in 12 games. We'll drop the puck at 7 o'clock with a special tribute to Arch Ecker after the game tonight. Wenatchee's on the road at Penticton tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Well, the Wenatchee girls soccer team is league champions after a thrilling shootout win in West Valley last night. The game was scoreless after regulation and 2 overtime periods, so it went to a penalty kick shootout. That's where the Panthers sealed the victory and stamped their ticket to the State 4A tournament. Eastmont also advanced in a shootout last night, downing Eisenhower 3-2. Cadets led 2-0 late in the contest when the Wildcats came storming back with a couple of goals, sent it into overtime. Eastmont will face West Valley in a winner-to-state game. That's tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Also tomorrow, the next round of the playoffs for smaller schools. Kashmir is hosting Freeman at 1 o'clock, while Cascade plays at Deer Park at 2 in the CTL Northeast A crossover games. District 6, 7, 1B, 2B crossover games have Liberty Bell at Northwest Christian at 1. Okanagan will take on St. George's at 1 in Quincy. Tonasket hosts Reardon at 1 o'clock. Brewster will play at Davenport at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All the winners advancing to states. Brewster advanced to the championship of the District 6 2B volleyball tournament last night. That was in Omak. Bears edged Okanagan in 5 games. What a thriller to advance to face Manson for the championship game Saturday after the Trojans swept Lake Roosevelt. Tomorrow's consolation game in Omak starts at 3 with Brewster and Manson to follow at 4:30. Waterville-Mansfield punched its ticket to the State 1B tournament with a 3-0 win over Wilson Creek last night at Wenatchee High School. Entiat won the district championship by downing Moses Lake Christian by a final of 3-1. The District 6 4A tournament will be settled in West Valley High School tomorrow as the Rams and Wenatchee Panthers play for the title. That'll be at noon. That's followed by Eastmont and Davis at 2 o'clock. Winner of the Wildcats and Pirates will face the loser of West Valley and Wenatchee for a last chance to get to state. Chelan will host Colville tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock in a winner-to-state crossover playoff between the Caribou Trail League and Northeast A-League. Crossover has Kashmir also on the road at Freeman. That starts at 1 o'clock. Well, runners from throughout the state will gather in Pasco tomorrow for the Prep Cross-Country State Championships. The first wave of runners will take off at Sun Willows Golf Course starting at 10 in the morning. Competitors from Eastmont, Moses Lake, Wenatchee have to wait till the girls start at 1:20 in the afternoon. The boys will get going at 3. Well, Wenatchee had its season end in a miserable night at Spokane Valley last night. We're talking football. The Panthers had more punt yards at 146 than they did offensive yards with 116 last night. Titans won it 30-0. 3 of University's 4 touchdowns on the night were either on turnovers or a punt return. Eisenhower also fell last night to Walla Walla at Burlesque Stadium 34-6. Now, coming up tonight, Moses Lake plays at Gonzaga Prep at 6, while West Valley is at Chiawana. Ferris visits Davis at 7. While Eastmont plays host to Richland. Now, the Bombers come into tonight's game with a 5-4 record, but Eastmont coach Michael Don says, don't let that record fool you.
I do. I think they got some guys who can run well, and I think we got guys who run well, and there could be a lot of speed on the football field, and they do some things really well. They've got 2 middle linebackers who are really good, and then offensively they've got a lot of guys with good ball skills and a quarterback who can throw it.
Of Richland's 40 touchdowns this season, 21 have come from explosive plays of 20 yards or more. Don says that could be the key to tonight's bowl game.
Making a big play when it needs to happen. It's making that big play when it needs to happen. It's, who's going to make the big catch, who's going to make the big run, make the play defensively as a DB, make a pick, something like that. It's going to be some kind of turning moment in the game that's going to separate it.
Two teams complete opposites when it comes to the offense. Bombers will throw most of the time. Eastmont runs most of the time. Don would love to see the forecast of bad weather come to fruition.
Bring on as much wind as we can get. We're ready to go. We'll take advantage of any opportunity we get with that. But, hopefully we'll see. It could be rainy, could be windy, it could be a tough one, but it'll be a fun one.
As we mentioned, Eastmont leans heavily on its ground game, including senior running back Austin Ruffins. Don says he's proud of how Austin keeps battling back from injuries, including a broken hand this season.
He's had a tough career as far as injuries go. Every year he's had something happen. He's had to miss a significant amount of games in his career, and he just keeps persevering. And this year he missed a game earlier, and then he broke his hand and got it casted up, and he's been playing with the cast on, and he's still catching the ball with the cast on. He's running the ball well with the cast on, and he's one of our better blocking running backs.
Ruffin says he was worried he might miss the rest of the season when the injury happened just 2 weeks into the season.
When it first happened, I was told that it was either broken or fractured, and the first thing I thought was I was going to have surgery and that my season was going to be over. But once I found out that I could get the cast, I was super happy, super excited.
So how hard has that been to adjust to having to wear that to carry the ball?
Not super hard, because, I take handoffs with my left hand, so I always carry it with the left. But catching the ball is pretty tough.
Be sure to tune in for the action with Grant and me tonight, starting with our pregame live at Wildcat Stadium at 6:30 here on the NCWLIFE channel. Caribou Trail League has its crossover games with the Northeast A-League tonight. Chelan moved its game time up. It's already underway at Newport because of miserable weather in the forecast. 6 o'clock games. Quincy at Medical Lake. Omak hosts Riverside, and Colville visits Cashmere. Cascade plays at Deer Park tonight at 7 o'clock. B-League play last night. Davenport couched Tenasket. Get it, Davenport couched. Tenasket 25-6, the final. Coming up today, Bridgeport playing at Curlew. Manson's at East Valley High School in Spokane against Northwest Christian. Brewster visits Jenkins Chewelah. Lake Roosevelt has a road game at Liberty Spangle. That's the same kickoff time, by the way, 7 o'clock for Okanagan at home against Lynn Ritzfield Sprague. There are 2 games coming up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Idiot visiting Welpinit. Cusick playing at Waterville Mansfield. College football schedule begins tonight in Seattle. Washington hosts number 23 Oregon State at Husky Stadium. Game will kick off at 7:30 on ESPN. Eastern Washington kicks off at noon in Idaho on ESPN+. Washington State visits Stanford at 12:30 on the Pac-12 network. Central Washington plays against number 2 Angelo State tomorrow afternoon at 4. Seahawks also, they are in Arizona to take on the Cardinals this weekend. That kicks off at 1:05 on Sunday. That's sports. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tonight for football. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Join me for a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for the first day of winter, which isn't until December 21st, but as Grant has already told you, it's going to feel like winter. Complete weather details are coming up. We'll talk about all the things that happened in the weekend of sports. It's a jam-packed weekend, and of course, Monday is Election Eve. We'll get you ready to get out and vote for Indecision 2022. It's time to change the sheets. Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, dark and early, Monday morning. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that'll do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com, or you can give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us, and have a great weekend.